Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD and I'm bringing you guys game 3 between Polt and Stephano from the grand finals of Assembly Winter ASUS ROG. In the blue color at the 6 o'clock position, we do have the Terran player. He has tied up this series at 1 apiece. It is Polt and the map is Metalopolis, which is an old map. I haven't seen a map from a game from Metalopolis for about a month now, so this is great. I'm very much looking forward to watching this matchup because Metalopolis hasn't been used in most tournament formats, as it's been considered kind of old, kind of archaic. Even though it's a great map, it's very it's somewhat balanced, I would say. But a lot of players have gotten used to it. They really love it. It is kind of old, and that's why a lot of tournaments have taken it out of the pool. But it looks like for the grand finals here, at least, the guys from Assembly and the guys from ASUS decided to incorporate Metalopolis, so that's great. And in the red color, we do have Millennium Stephano just over by the air position, right next to each other, actually. So the Overlord will make its way over to the Terran main right away, and we'll see if Stephano decides to pull away. He does. So a little bit of peekaboo. I see you, but you don't see me. And Stephano will now go ahead and hide the Overlord in the recess of the Terran airspace. The drone, of course, making its way in right away and going to do a little bit of scouting. And so the map is Metalopolis, and I do remember the map statistics here. And while I always say that I feel like this map is a huge Zerg favorite map against Terran, it actually is not. It is actually Terran versus Zerg favorite, believe it or not. And I'm still scratching my head as to why. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but it is a TVZ favorite map by about 55–56%-ish. Depending on which scene you want, Korean or international. I've kind of averaged it out for you guys, just to make it a little bit easier. We do have a barracks coming up from Polt here at the corner. Oh, he's going for a 2-racks opening, so I was wondering at what point in this series we were going to see a little bit of aggression, a little bit of cheesiness, and it looks like Polt is going to open up with the 2 barracks. And I guess I am a little premature by calling this cheese, because it really isn't. It's actually a very, very common build, but because I haven't seen it in a while, it is a little bit fun to watch. And so it looks like Polt is going to try to apply a lot of early aggression here, and the 2 barracks opening is very effective against Zerg players who throw the 15 hatchery down. And did Stephano 15 hatch? He did, and that's usually what Zerg players do on Metalopolis. So really Polt is just kind of playing mind games here, realizing that Stephano's probably going to expand right away, so I should just 2 racks open, and we'll see what kind of damage you can do here. It's not cheesy, as I said before. The barracks is on the low ground, so the reinforcements are very, very quick. But there is going to be a lot of Marines at the front door, and Stephano is going to have to pull a lot of drones to deal with this one. And it looks like the bunker may actually... No, it will not come up. There's just too many drones there. Stephano has pulled almost all of his drones off the mineral line to defeat that. And he kills off the bunker with almost all the drones at the natural fighting. And how many workers gone down? Just 2. But there is another bunker coming up, but at the very least Stephano was able to buy enough time to get 8 Zerglings on the map. And now can he fight this bunker and take it down or not? Wow, the Marines are in a fantastic position, and it looks like Stephano killed off the SCV at least, so he's just buying time and waiting until, well, actually just buying time so the bunker doesn't come up. But there is another SCV on the way, I'd imagine. Yes, there is. So Polt is bringing another SCV to finish up that bunker, and Stephano's really in a lot of trouble here. Those Marines are getting clumped up and getting quite powerful, and now the Zerglings are going to come in with the help of the Queen on the ramp. And will it be enough? Yeah, nice play by Stephano to take out the SCV first, and it looks like in conjunction with the Queen, he should be able to kill off the rest of those Marines. And it will go down. Yes, the bunker has been canceled, so nice by Polt to get the cancel off just in time. And now he should be able to get these Marines out of here. I don't know why he's continuing to stick around, but he might end up losing his Marine. No, he keeps it alive. But finally, the Zergling numbers overwhelm the Marines, and now Polt has to fall back. So, you know, I think all in all, just an aggressive ploy designed to force the Zerg player to build more Zerglings than he really wants to. And if you look at the income tab right now, Stephano is nowhere near as high in drones as he would like to be. He's at 17 drones right now, and that's not a lot at all. Usually most Zerg players would be way ahead in drone numbers. So I actually feel like while Polt did lose a lot of Marines in that engagement, and you know, he delayed his build order somewhat, I think he is ahead right now. He has to raise his supply depot wall, though. I think he was a little bit too aggressive. He kept the Marines out of the front door, and now he could be in trouble. Has to bring SCVs off the mineral field to repair the supply depots, and this is Stephano's opportunity to re-drone and get ahead in the game. as he brilliantly micros that Zergling into the back. That was very nice. And he saves another one. No, he will not. Oh my god, the SCV repairing the bunker, the supply depot to the south was not paying attention to the one in the north, and now the supply depot has gone down, and a couple of Zerglings able to burst their way inside, and they will get a full scout inside the Terran base. That was very much well worth it. You know, a lot of times Zerglayer's just in the dark right now, but he gets a Zergling inside. He even destroys the supply depot, which kind of hurts Polt because he has to rebuild it, obviously. And he gets a full scout off inside the base, so he knows exactly what Polt is doing. Polt did throw a command center down, and Polt is not going for, you know, the end-all, be-all here, the Armageddon of times. He's going to try to expand, and he's going to try to approach into the mid-game. He's not going to try to end it early, and that's his strategy for now. He's got a lot of Marines down on the little road here as well. Good Overlord placement from Stephano. At any point in time, you can go ahead and send one of these blimps in and figure out what the Terran's kind of up to, what kind of tech he's on, how much gases, and the number of forces he's got on the field. And Stephano, interestingly enough, is making a Baneling nest. That is not characteristic of Stephano. And he's making a lot of Zerglings as well. Wow, does Stephano feel like he took so much damage in the early game that he's just going to try to end it here with a Baneling bust? It could possibly be a Baneling bust, an eco Baneling bust from Stephano here. And he does not have a lair, so he's not going to have centrifugal hooks. He's just going to try to walk up with all of his Banelings and end the game. And a key element of this strategy is to try to get your creep extended as far as possible. We can see he's really focused on that creep tumor spreading because the more creep he's got, the faster the Banelings can get over to the Terran natural. And oh my god, if Polt does not make some bunkers right now, he could be in so much trouble. I really think Stephano is just going to go for it. The Baneling nest is up right now. He's got tons of Zerglings. He's morphing out. The Banelings over at the right. He did sneak these Zerglings around the Xel'Naga towers, so Polt, who did not have vision of the eastern tower, will not know, as the Banelings are morphing on the right-hand side of the map, and there's enough Zerglings here, more than enough Zerglings for Stephano to go ahead and crush this Marine army. There is no stim pack, just combat shields. I really think Polt needs to be careful here. And he really needs to be careful. The Baneling has been revealed, but Polt dives his way over to the back corner. Is it going to be enough to keep his Marines alive? Meanwhile, the Banelings are walking in here. Polt paying attention, though. He has lost his Marines over at the Xel'Naga tower, and he pulls his SCVs away. So Polt, you know, one loss over here on the center of Metalopolis, but he saves himself from losing more by keeping his multitasking and his APM on point. And now Stephano is going to go for the all-in. Stephano, having full map control, is going to try to end the game right now with an eco Baneling bust. Polt has to get some bunkers up. He's only got one at the front door. He has no coverage here for where the Banelings can flood in through the Vespine side. And now the SCVs and mules better run their asses back home. Oh my god, it looks like the Banelings are just going to be all allowed to come inside the main here. And now the SCVs have to keep running, or else a lot of them could go down. Not that many have gone down so far. Polt still continuing to micro his SCVs away, and oh, there it is. But you know what? Look at the spread by Polt. That was very smart of him, just to keep all of the SCVs as spread out as far as possible, just mitigating that damage. And now Stephano has to think, where do I want to go blow up my Baneling? So he's looking around, you know what? I'm going to take the mule over here, take some SCVs over there. Those look more clumped up than that one. But all in all, I still feel like Stephano did major amounts of damage. Even though Polt brilliantly microed his SCVs, there's still Zerglings inside the main. And yeah, wow, it looks like Polt has been able to get some security here at both of his bases. So, you know what? Incredible hold by Polt. Yes, he lost, what, 23 SCVs? But if you look at the supply tab, he is ahead of the Zerg player right now because so much of Stephano's resources were committed to that attack, and it did not end the game. That's critical. It did not end the game. Polt was able to survive. Polt is still standing. He is a survivor, and his Marines and Marauders here remembering the remembering the tragedy of their SCVs, remembering how insane that last battle was. They're a little bit battle scarred. They have a little bit of post-war syndrome here, but they're going to go out across the field here and try to make something happen. Comsat goes down, receding the creep tumors. There is a hatchery at the third, so Stephano is going to expand and try to get into a plan B situation. But he's got to worry about this attack at the front door. There's quite a few Marines and Marauders, and those two medevacs. Just so nice for Polt, man. He's going to keep those Marines and Marauders basically on stim the entire battle. and a queen is going to drop. Stephano has to clean up this army. He will get the surround, though, and that bodes well for Stephano, who cleans up that army very quickly. And Polt actually evacuating a handful of Marines there and Marauders, so he will be able to escape. Not an entire loss for him. But this is such a back and forth game, and this is how the entire series has been for this grand finals. The first game back and forth, the second game back and forth, this third game. It's really watching two players whose skill level is so high, but they're so equal. It is literally on the knife's edge here. And that knife has been sharpened a billion times over. So this is so close. I can't give the edge to anybody right now. Polt is pushing out across the map right now. He feels like this is a time to attack. He's just going with his gut feeling right now. Stephano has tons of Zerglings and Banelings, so I think Stephano is in an okay position if he can get a good surround here. Of course, the Marauders leading the charge because they can absorb more Baneling hits than their Marine brethren. And here comes Stephano. He will get another surround. Now, there are medevacs in the air, so will Polt be able to evacuate his forces or not? Trying to micro the Marines away from the Zerglings, and I think that was a mistake. I think Polt should have just ran the Marines into the medevacs. And he didn't. He only saved 3 right there, so that was a mistake, I think, by Polt. Stephano now claiming the map control with the amount of Zerglings he's got on the field. He's got 53 Zerglings, and at this point in the game, considering how many units have gone down, in fact, how many units have gone down, 7,000 in resources from both sides, so that's 14K in resources. That's the cost of war, man. War is not cheap. So really, I think now Stephano, with 53 Zerglings on the map, has map control, has the advantage. He is going to be able to do a lot with that. He can expand at will. He can crush the Terran Third should it ever come up. He can apply pressure at the front door where Polt only really has 1 tank right now. A secondary tank is making its way out of the factory. But is there siege mode on yet? Yeah, siege mode is researched. So at the very least, Polt is going to have the ability to get that range boost. But I think Stephano does have an edge right now, a slight edge. Nevertheless, there are tanks pushing out though, so I think that siege mode really kind of balancing out a little bit. And Polt now making another attack. Oh wow, he's going to go ahead and siege up the perimeter of the Zerg main, and he's going to drop his Marines inside as well. Love the fantastic position here. Even this little jut, this ledge, helps protect his tanks as well. And now Stephano has to keep some Zerglings and Banelings at home, but of course not get within this little white range where the tanks can fire. But Stephano comes in and attacks the low ground at the same time. He is unable to kill off the tanks though. And that is huge because now without killing off the tanks, Polt can continue to reinforce his position. And that does not bode well for the Zerg player at all. The Zerg is going to have to scramble to muster up his forces, and he's got to kill off these 3 tanks. The longer he waits, the more tanks will accumulate at that area, and the more difficult it becomes to deal with this. Stephano knows it. We all know it. He runs in. His primary focus here, the tanks. Can he pick off another tank or not? He is unable to do so. Too many Marines. Those Marines not having that many upgrades, just Stimpack and combat shields, but just enough to save the tank. And will Stephano be able to clean up the Marines here? Polt escapes by evacuating into the medevacs. How much blood and carnage has been dropped onto the floor here? It's amazing. And let's look at the numbers now. It is suddenly 20K in resources. So in the last minute or so, another 6K has dropped. A hatchery has fallen as well. Those are nutrients that the creep will like, but overall, the Overmind will not. And I don't know what Stephano is going to do. Polt is continuing to apply this pressure, just shoving his will into Stephano's face. And I don't know what Stephano can do right now. Another building may go down here. Stephano has got to kill off these tanks. He's got to go for the tanks. And it looks like he's going to pick off 1, 2, 3. Can he get the 4th tank or not? He's going to focus his efforts on the Marines now, but he really should kill off that tank. He kills off the tank. So the last tank has gone down, but of course any good Terran will always have more tanks streaming. The reinforcements are never ending. The pressure must be applied on the Zerg until the Zerg back has broken, or if the Zerg is an invertebrate, until the Zerg has been snapped in half. And Polt knows it. He's going to re-siege his position, I would imagine. And yes, it is moving into position right now. That tank looking very awkward at that moment right there. Still Marines inside the mineral line until Stephano can clean it up, and he will be able to do just that. But 23 SCVs actually have gone down. Only 11 drones. So the miracle here, I guess, if you can take away from this, from Stephano's vantage point, is that he hasn't lost that many drones, and he's somehow been able to eke out this expansion over at the top side. So Stephano still has the base advantage, but he still has to deal with these Marines inside his main, and I don't know where he's going to find the forces to do that. I mean, literally every second that passes by, every mineral patch that is mined and every drop of Vespine that enters these hatcheries is immediately expelled into the larva and into Zerglings and Banelings just to help in the defensive effort. This is one Zerg country that is basically on its back foot. It's about to be snapped in half, but somehow he calls upon the farmers in the land. Somehow he calls upon his militia to arm up and fight and defend their honor and their country, and he's been able to do it thus far. He hasn't lost yet. He hasn't given up hope, even though he lost the hatchery, even though he lost half of his upgrades with the Evo chamber going down, even though the tanks are just on the perimeter of the main, and the drops continue onward. He hasn't given up, and now Stephano coming in for a huge counter blow. This is his opportunity to take back control of the game, but he slams all the Banelings almost seemingly into more tanks and Marines, and I don't think that boded well at all. You don't want to slam you don't want to slam Banelings into tanks. There is an opening here for an attack as Polt has expanded over to the central location. Of course, there are no gold resources here because Mapmaker's not favoring the gold anymore on competitive StarCraft 2 matches, and the Zerglings are going to be able to run in here. That is a beautiful counterplay by Stephano. Stephano is going to be able to kill off almost all the SCVs. That was art right there, what we just witnessed. So a beautiful play right there by Stephano, but now he's got to have to defend his main as those Marines have been able to drive their way over into the mineral fields. There isn't that much minerals left, actually, if you look at it. So perhaps Stephano can afford to absorb some damage here or there, but the tanks now, oh wow, that's always a sign of bad things to come when the tanks begin dropping on the high ground. So Polt here continuing to assert his aggression, but he's got to worry about the Zerglings back over here at the pocket expansion. Oh no, he just lost some of his SCVs. That is not good. The Zerglings now trying to do what the tanks and Marines are doing, just standing at the perimeter. And now it looks like Polt in a lot of trouble as the Zerglings and Banelings coming in. All his tanks are going down. Polt just lost his entire position here. He's got to refortify it immediately. He still has some forces on the high ground, and he is going to refortify it with a ton of Marines. It's Elite Delta Squadron coming into the rescue, and not enough Zerglings and Banelings, I don't think, to deal with this many 1-1 Marines. The Zerglings, let's check their upgrades. 1-2-2 actually. So Stephano has been keeping up in the upgrade department, doing very well, better than his counterpart Polt, but Polt continues to make this attack happen. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do have an expansion that's fully mining for Stephano, so Stephano is accumulating resources at this moment in the game, which is helping him defend this constant Terran aggression. Polt has to kill off a hatchery here. I really feel like if Polt is going to nail the coffin, if he's going to drive it home here, he has to pick off the natural. Perhaps actually better yet, picking off one of the bases that still has resources mining, because the main and the natural are out of resources. This entire war effort has costed Stephano dearly, and Stephano is out of money now at the two main bases. So I really feel like, you know, if Polt can take off a critical building here, maybe the spawning pool or the lair, that would be huge. But constant attacks at the natural may not be worth it anymore. It may not be worth the expenditure of his Marines and tanks, which do not come cheap. Stephano now beginning to unload some of his Marines. Back at home, plenty of reinforcements continuing to stream in. Let's just look at the APM from both these guys. Over 100, almost 200 per both players here. Zerglings once again attacking this position, but it is not enough Zerglings. Stephano just can't catch a lucky break. These tanks, these Marines are too buff, and they will hold this position down. Oh my god. Spawning pool is going to go down, and that was what Polt was looking for. If he kills off the spawning pool, he essentially has a minute window to do whatever he damn well pleases, because he doesn't have to worry about Zerglings anymore. There is a new pool and Baneling Nest coming up to replace any lost buildings, which of course the pool has already gone down, but the Baneling Nest may go down as well, so good anticipation by Stephano. Stephano actually might lose his natural here, which, like I said before, not a huge loss, but still a loss nevertheless. And now Stephano actually coming into the tanks. Polt has to save the last tank here, and he does just that. How many tanks does he have on the map? Only 2. So you can see how the cost of war has also strained the Terran here, where most Terrans at 27 minutes in would have billions of tanks. He only has 2, 3 now, in fact. So Polt also in a lot of trouble, but he's continuing to drive his forces over to the third. He has forced all the drones to evacuate. And I cannot believe this. I actually think Polt is going to win this game. He has killed off the new spawning pool. The massive spurt of blood reaches 50 feet in the air. The Baneling Nest detonates immediately, and the hatchery falls down as well. Some Banelings coming in here. They will clean up the Marines. Not a bad job right there by Stephano to clean up, but that's really Not a good trade. You know, 15, 20 Marines for one of your only mining hatcheries. I think the Terran Polt will take that any day. And Polt has got to be grinning from ear to ear right now because he is mining, whereas his opponent barely is at all. That's the name of the game right now. Income tab showing the Terran actually mining gas. The Zerg is not. And I believe Stephano's back is about to break. There it is. Stephano calls a GG. Well played. So that was an incredible StarCraft 2 game. Oh my god, I'm literally... The sweat. I actually sweat when I cast, guys. I know it's kind of gross. Sweat is pouring out of me right now. I have so much adrenaline built up in my body. I'm so amped. And I can't believe Polt just took that game. Polt is now 2-1 in this series. Incredible. Look at that 50k in resources spent this game. Oh man, that is incredible. And that is game 3. Polt is now up 2-1 in the series. Game 4 is coming out next. Will Stephano make the comeback or not? This is for the 10k first place prize pool. Stay tuned. HD signing out.